8 million. How do you feel?
Feels amazing, you know. I think my re-entry into Indian cinema has come with a bang, and I'm very excited for what this year has to bring. And Begum Jaan is a very special project to me.
So tell me about your role in Begum Jaan.
I play the role of Gulabo, and Gulabo is a sex worker in the house, as we all are. We're playing prostitutes. But Gulabo, more than, you know, the work that she does, her personality really shines through for me as an actor, because she's strong, she's vivacious, and she fights for what she believes in. But yet she's also very sensitive and has a vulnerable side. And as a person and as a woman, she's someone I really relate to.
There are many legendary actors who are working in this movie. Lashuddin sir, Rajit Kapoor sir. So how was your experience with them all?
So fun. You know, I mean, Vidya is so generous. She is a legend in herself. Ila Arun and Rajit Kapoor were people that I had a lot of fun with. Ila Arun was the naughtiest, cheekiest person on set. She would be dressed as Amma but quietly dancing in the corner, and then Srijit sir would be like, "Kaun awaaz kar raha hai piche se?" And she'd be like, "Shh, don't say it's me, don't say it's me." So she was a lot of fun. Rajit Kapoor just made everybody laugh, and he and Ilaji have worked together in the theatre before, so they had an incredible rapport. So between shots, the two of them would be teasing each other, and then we'd all be like, "What's going on here?" And it was a lot of fun.
How was the atmosphere during the shoot? Because all the seniors actors and most of all are women only. So how was the atmosphere?
It was an atmosphere of sheer determination, an atmosphere of a lot of love. Everyone had a lot of love for one another. Srijit, this is a testament to Srijit Mukherjee, that he instilled such respect in the actors for one another before we went to shoot the film. So by the time we were there, we already had so much care for the other person, so much empathy for the other person, and we wanted the other person to do well. And I think that that is a brilliant thing when you have an ensemble like that.
Begum Jaan is a remake of a Bengali movie, Raj Kiran. So someone have reworked that character. What input you have given from your side in that character?
Begum Jaan is an adaptation of Raj Kahini, but I think that it is an adaptation. The interpretation of it is very different to what he would have done in Bengal. But I personally didn't see Raj Kahini. I made a decision to bring my own authenticity to the role of Gulabo and not be tainted by what someone's done before, because it is a different film. And a lot of preparation, as I said, went into the script at a workshop level between all of us. And I personally, made a decision to surrender to the role. I made a decision that I will be Gulabo for 32 days on set and before that. And I think it was visible to the director, because when I would walk on set, a lot of people would say, "Isko kya ho gaya? Ye to badi mood mein aayi hai," you know. But I was always internalizing Gulabo, and I had to not worry about what 10 other girls or women might think while I'm doing that. And that's also tough, because then as a human being, you're having to put aside your ego, and you're having to put aside, okay, they might think that I'm acting weird, and you know, so I just had to stick to my convictions.
Many people do experiment for their character to get into their character skin. What, you have done any experiment on that role?
For Gulabo?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I worked very deeply with Srijit on what her backstory was, where she came from, which part of India she comes from, Hoshiarpur in Punjab, what her dialect is, kis tarah ki Punjabi bolti hai wo. It's not just Punjabi, but it's a dialect of Punjabi called Dwabi. That's because Doaba means two rivers, and it's the people that live between these two rivers of Punjab, the way in which they speak. And I wanted her to have that lehza and that tehzeeb of that place. So I considered it very deeply. I'm very fortunate that half of my heritage is Punjabi, from that part of Punjab. So I have experienced people and cultures and been to places like Fagwara, been to places like Jalandhar and Chandigarh and Amritsar, and feel very close to the culture. So I felt very at home being Gulabo.
2016 was known for a feminist role for all the movies like NS10, Nirja. Do you think the legacy will be continued in this movie also? This will start from this movie also, Begum Jaan?
I would like to think that it's not about feminist movies or not feminist movies, that it's just about good scripts, good characters, and good roles for all actors. And it's just that finally, women are allowed to shine the way they should be.
Nowadays, nepotism is growing more and more. And Kanra Ranaut has also told in Coffee with Karan that now it's growing more.
I just
What
love
do
that
you
you're
think?
asking this question, because I'm telling you right now, 5 years ago, no one even knew what it meant or asked the question.
Nowadays, it's becoming more and more.
I mean,
so what do you think? Is it exist or not?
I think it would be an untruth to say that that everybody has the same struggle getting into the industry. It is definitely easier for some than others, but talent always prevails. And if you're not talented, it doesn't matter who you knew or how you got in. It's not going to work, or it will work according to that. I didn't know a soul when I came to Bombay, but I'm sitting here talking to you, right? I was just in a trailer which crossed 8 million views. I was in an Oscar-nominated film. That's through sheer hard work and perseverance and persistence that I've chosen to be a survivor and fight through. But I don't begrudge somebody who may have gotten their first opportunity a little bit more easily, because they will have to work just as hard in their career. And I think Alia is a shining example of someone where I'm so glad that she had the, she knew people so that she could actually, and she's not going to be cast without talent, for example. No one is going to be cast if they don't have talent. I think that the industry has a lot of integrity that way. And she happened to have immense talent, and it works. She just happens to be someone's daughter. So I really love her as an actress, and I'm using her as an example because people have asked me this question before. And I think 5 years on, she's doing phenomenal work, as did Kajol in her career, someone who came from the industry, as did Rani Mukherjee in her career. These are all phenomenal actresses that have contributed to Indian cinema in extraordinary ways. And Indian cinema would not be the same without them. So I really think that the more the merrier. It would be lovely if there could be more mentorship for people who don't have contacts in the industry. I think that's one place we could improve. But yeah, long answer to your short question.
In past, in the past, you have played many roles, and in Begum Jaan also you are playing a different role. If you like to explore the web series also in future.
I've been offered a couple of things, and I'm not averse to it. I just haven't had the time, to be honest, to do a web series yet. But I think, the mediums are changing and distribution mechanisms are changing for actors, and it's brilliant because we get to do more work. And I would be totally open to doing a web series if the right opportunity presented itself.
If you get the opportunity to work in a web series, whom do you like to work with? In actor, because many people are working in a web series. Farhan Akhtar also have came recently. Manoj Vajpayee, many are there. So with whom you like to work?
It doesn't matter whether it's a web series or not a web series. Obviously, there are certain actors that I have a lot of regard for. I'd love to work with Ayushmann again. I had a lot of fun working with him on Harai Zada. I'd love to work with Rajkumar Rao. I think he's a phenomenal actor in today's day and age. There is all the actors bring something so different to their roles, and I really want to work with everyone.
Censor board have issued many things in the past movies, like which concept are on humanisms. So what do you like to say about to censor, because Begum Jaan is also considered to be censored many scenes and so on. So what do you like to say? Because due to censor, director doesn't feel to make or express their views. So what do you like to say?
If you see, जैसे भट्ट साहब ने हमारे ट्रेलर लॉन्च पे कहा था इस सब्जेक्ट पे कि जो इंटेग्रिटी इस फिल्म की है वो इंटैक्ट रखा गया है. And I believe that the censor board has also been very realistic about the nature of this film, and therefore has not curbed it as much as maybe it could have. But in general, I think this argument of censorship versus non-censorship, it just means that we're living in a democracy where there's free speech. There is the notion of public order and maintaining public order with regards to maintaining free speech. And you and I can have a discussion about it through the media. So I think it's all a sign of a very healthy democracy, and I hope that that is maintained, that artists continue to make their art without fear of retribution and fear of censorship. but also that the censor board is able to actually uphold, you know, the pillars of society or whatever, you know, which is always going to be a dialogue. It's always going to be a back and forth. In no democracy is it not a back and forth. It just takes a different roop and rung in India. So I'm very fascinated by this issue of free speech and censorship. I actually once wrote a paper about it in law school 8 years ago. And it's really interesting that कि जो मैंने लिखा था 8 साल पहले अभी जाके वो हो रहा है. And when the time is right, I would love to actually share my paper in the public domain because it's fascinating to me.
In past, many movie has become a victim of piracy. Nowadays, piracy has become it's growing more and more. So, what do you like to say about the piracy? Because due to piracy, director and the producer get more and more according to the finance they get
Yeah, piracy affects box office returns and all of that.
They affect the box office. What do you like to say about the piracy?
I think it's an unfair.
Because before it get released, also many
it does a disservice to the industry. It does a disservice to the viability of industry of actors. But having said that, it's not like in the West actors get back end often for a film. It doesn't happen in India often. Unless you're a very big star, you don't get any royalties from how well your film does. So it doesn't affect the in some respect, the argument can be that the actor's work gets seen more. I know that Anurag Kashyap says कि आप मेरी पिक्चर है देखो तो सही कि कैसे भी देखोगे देखो तो सही तो ये एक और नज़रिया है देखने के लिए. So there are various arguments for this. I think ideally in an ideal world everyone would happily go to the cinema. अगर मेरा बस चले तो iPad भी ना हो, iPhone भी ना हो, पुराने ज़माने जैसे हम जाके पिक्चर हॉल में देख के बैठते. So yeah, I think piracy is something that needs to be tackled, but it's very hard because technology is racing ahead of us right now.
What will be the one factor from your movie that will be touching to the audience and it have touched you too?
आपने देखा नहीं मैंने जैसे बंदूक चलाया वो तो टच कर जाती है. Bullet. That's all I'll say.
Okay, so last, what do you like to say to your fans about your movie?
I would love to say to all my fans, thank you very much from me to you for all of your love and support. I know that I do a disappearing act and then I come back and then I disappear again, but I'm back with Begum Jaan and it's a very special film to all of us who've made this film. Srijit Mukherjee is an incredible visionary director and Vidya is astounding. So if you want to be astounded, please go to the cinema on April 14th.
After Begum Jaan, ma'am, any upcoming project?
I'm leaving for Australia tomorrow to start shooting a new TV series in Australia. And उसके बाद की बात बाद में ही हो पाएगी.
Cool. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.